Hello, so today we're going to do a compression test on a Jeep Grand Cherokee. There's lots of reasons to do a compression test. One of them is if the vehicle won't start. That's one of the things you want to check if your car won't start. Or a compression test can also just check to make sure the internal parts are wearing evenly. So your first step, you want to start by pulling out the fuel pump relay. Also, you want to pull out all of the spark plugs. You also want to disconnect the ignition source. So in this case, that is the distributor. I'm going to disconnect the power from it. So what we want to do is get our compression tester, find one of these. I'm going to take it. It screws in, it has threads, screws into the block, just like a spark plug would. Most sets come with 2 or 3 of them. You just need to find the right one. So, now that I've found the one that I need, I'm going to hook it up to the rest of the compression set. So one of your next steps is to make yourself a chart like this. There's 2 types of compression tests: dry compression tests and wet. Dry, to do a wet compression test, you add oil into the cylinders, just a couple of drops out of an oil can. A dry compression test, you just screw the thing in and start cranking the motor. Speaking of which, to do the actual testing part of a compression test, you need to have yourself a friend, like that. You're going to stand here with your compression gauge, ask your friend to go ahead and hop in the vehicle and turn the key. Wait for it to crank over 5 times when you say go. So something else that we want to do that's not a bad idea, since you're drawing a lot of battery power, hook up a battery charger. Just simply turn it on to a low charge so that it replenishes the battery after you drain it. And then watch your gauge closely. All right, go. Again. Stop. So I don't know if you could see it, but this got 130 psi of compression. So I want to find myself a little pen and write that down. Now, I'm going to continue doing that on all 6 cylinders and go from there.
When doing a compression test, you want to have your person in the car turn the key for 5 to 10 cranks while you watch the needle go up, and you want to read and mark down whatever the highest needle thing was during those ticks. Go ahead. Yep. You could see that one was about 105, so we will write down 105.
So now that we're done with all 6 cylinders, we are going to move on to a wet compression test. That's really simple. It's just putting a couple of drops of oil into each cylinder. As I said, we're going to just add a couple of drops of oil into each cylinder, one at a time before we do them. And then you repeat your steps as usual. Put the compression tester on and check each cylinder. Write down the highest reading that you see, and yeah. We're on to our wet compression tests, actually doing them. Go ahead, crank it over. So That got up to approximately 125. On to cylinder number 6. Doing good so far. So go ahead. And that got up to about 129. So now that my compression test is done, I can come to a few assumptions, knowing that on the wet and the dry compression test, cylinder 3 had lower compression. I know that there is possibly a little bit of leakage in cylinder 3. So now you are going to just simply put your spark plugs back in, think about your results, and go from there depending on what they are with the troubleshooting process. You're going to just hook everything back up now, and that's it. Thanks for listening to this.